Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products. All right, what role do analytics play in your coaching style?
I subscribe to key free or three, so we want to score in the paint, uncontested rhythm threes, and we want to we obviously want to get to the foul line. So that being said, typically my top two basketball players are shooting some mid-range shots because honestly they've put the work in and they've proven to me that they can make those type of shots. 3 through 12 probably are not. If they're shooting a lot of those for you, you're probably losing. So my biggest stat over the last 10 years is 24 free throw attempts. If we get 24 free throw attempts, and this is different than system teams. System teams want their numbers being like 70, 80 shots for high school and then half of them being threes. They don't really talk about getting to the foul line.
Right.
And there was a thread on Twitter. Coach Brattenberg loves how certain teams are playing in the tournament, a little bit more post-oriented that you normally see, like Arizona, Purdue, Michigan. These teams have some bigs and they're using them. But my comment was, I don't care how you do it off the bounce. A dribble post up with a small guard like Villanova does in what people are calling post-up Barclays.
Yeah.
Throwing it traditional big or off of a ball screen rolling or hitting a cutter in the paint. If you go look at any stat sheet, points in the paint and free throws made, probably the team that won those usually win. I mean, watch Golden State Warriors and all them with all their threes, they still get points in the paint. And 3-point shooting, and here's the key. Villanova gets in the paint off the bounce. Golden State Warriors don't really have a post, but they get in the paint and they can shoot. There's the key.
Yeah.
Your gaps and everything get bigger if you can shoot. So Jay Wright taught this a long time ago. You play offense based upon your jump shot. If you can't shoot, I'm a Laker fan, you're going to get disrespected by Pat Beverly.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook is going to be sitting in LeBron's lap, not guarding him 18 feet from the hoop, and you're not going to be able to score because you didn't put the time and effort into the number one skill in basketball, in my opinion, is shoot the basketball. Have you ever said this? Gosh, I just don't have enough. I just have too many shooters on my team.
Not a grapevine faith. No way.
I mean, it's typically I don't have enough shooters or I don't have enough defenders or something to that effect. But I've never heard a coach complain that they have too many shooters.
You're right on the money. It is the thing. It'll make I just can't think of an offense that even if you're running through a big and you want to get him a touch, you put players around that demand that their players stay close to them, then that just enables more space in the paint. So I think you're right on the money. Yep, right on the money.
In the 150 clinics that I've hosted, I get questions in chat or private chat from coaches, and they range from D1 coaches, D2 coaches. I've had a few that have listened to some of the speakers. Will this work if I don't have shooters? Is the most common question when they're showing zone offense concepts or man concepts. And I go, I don't know what my answer usually is. What does work if you don't have a post player that you can throw the ball into and get you a bucket or create a double team to fire the ball out will work if you can't shoot the basketball.
I think then what's the next question is, okay, we need shooters. Then how do we develop them at our schools? So what are some keys that you have uh, to help high school coaches develop more shooters?
You need to you need to shoot way more than you do in practice, and this is where the Doc Shepler reference came in, where I had a debate on Facebook and stuff with coaches because I run those groups. Like, the question was, do you allow your kids to choose which way they shoot, hop 1-2, or are you a coach that dictates how your program shoots the basketball? And I think the key relationship here is two of the top shooting coaches I know in California are Doc Shepler and Craig Campbell. Craig's won 10 section championships in a row at Clovis West, which happens to be the same school as Vance Wahlberg coaches at. He coaches on the girls' side, and Vance is on the guys' side. And they have feeder programs where they're working with kids from third grade all the way up, and they're implementing hop shooting or whatever style that they know. So those kids, when they hit their programs, are already trained. So not everybody can do that. So I think you need to start with your freshman program when a kid gets there, and in the summer, shoot the basketball. Goes back to the training aspect of this pod. It was, we play too much.
Yeah.
Let's get in the gym and shoot 100 threes a day. Let's do 100 off the catch rips and make a 2-foot finish. We're not shooting the basketball enough. And I think if you do have it, and it's interesting that both those guys are on the girls' side. And winning probably helps them because, hey, I've won this.
More buy-in.
You probably start saying, I should probably listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. But if you watch them play, Doc's team averages 13 made threes a game.
Wow.
He has a school, and it's not size. He's at Pinewood High School, I believe, that has 250 students. And he lost in the regional to St. Mary's with Sue Phillips, who coaches for USA Basketball. And he's competing in the Open Division in California.
Oh, wow.
And he was one game away. He lost in the state playoffs to her. They went on to play Sierra Canyon in California for the highest level that you can play in high school basketball here in California, which I would say the teams that were in the Open Division will compete with all the teams in the United States.
Yeah.
Etowanda was the number 2 team in the nation, and Sierra Canyon, who ended up winning it, was ranked number 9 in the nation. So
it shows you that, it's not if I was at a bigger school, if I automatically had better players. I mean, obviously, if you'd like to think if you have 1,000 boys to choose from, you could probably find 10 that can hoop. But if you're at a school like that, mine is we've got 340 kids, and so half are boys. And this year we made 405 threes. So like our guys, we take a lot of pride in the time that we spend on our shot. But I think you nailed it. If a coach asks, how do we get better shooters? Well, yes, physical reps. Like take the block out drill and the closeout drill out, the one that you just love so much, and take that out or adjust the time and put another 5 to 10 minutes in shooting. But then it's so much too about their mentality. And then it goes back to shot selection too. Do they know what shots they should be taking and they shouldn't be taking? And all of those things tie together though. So it's not as simple as just get more shots.
I mean, we didn't talk about it, but a big Doug Novak term that I heard from him is throw strikes. So if you're a baseball player, you got like your shoulders and your hips, like think that's the plate. So if you can hit them in those areas where they're not reaching outside the strike zone to catch the basketball, on time, on target, we've all heard those type of things. If you can throw strikes and get it to your 40% 3-point shooter in a on time, on target pass, your team's success is probably going to start going up because you got the ball to the kids that could shoot it. and they caught it in rhythm on time. So
that's a great point. You know you're in a good spot with your team and the culture, the shooting culture, the offensive culture you have when players are driving, engaging, and transferring that advantage to a shooter. But if the pass is off, they're taking ownership for that. Like that. That's a good place.
The key analytic I told you was we want rhythm uncontested threes.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying, hand in the face. That, I mean, just that simple hand is like probably drops it 10%.
Let me ask you a question based on that, because I've seen some coaches either in clinics or even on videos say that they practice contested threes, getting guys more comfortable shooting with the hand out. My first like gut instinct is, why is your offense not creating more open threes than that they have to become comfortable with the hand in their face? Or is that something that we should be doing that, missing out on?
I mean, we do like a little bit of a warm up where they're not running at them, but it's just kind of a hand up so that they see like they're used to shooting over a hand. But if a guy is flat closing out on you, that, in my opinion, that should be a one more.
Yeah, or
it should be
yeah.
It should be a 0.5 decision to drive it.
Yeah,
you should. I mean, that's how we teach playing. Is the terms I've started to use to make it simple is shoot it, drive it, move it. It's don't Carmelo Anthony hold it.
No doubt. I'm writing that down. Shoot it, drive it, move it. I like that.
I mean, that's just you got to do like you were talking about with these kids. You got to give them little sound bites, like something that they can remember. I mean, something Doc Lovett is next one's in. So he's always, if a kid misses a shot in practice when they're shooting or in the game, next one's in.
Yeah.
And the girls actually in his program, there's a great documentary that they have on YouTube, A Season with Pinewood. It's on YouTube, and it just goes through their whole season. And they interviewed a girl and or they were saying, what do I tell you when you miss? The girl goes, next one's in.
About to get hot. I love that. Yeah.
So, I mean, I can go on about him. I mean, he was, or maybe still is, and I got to ask him, is Jeremy Lin's shooting instructor.
What's his name?
Doc Shepler.
Okay. I think mentality is what separates us. I don't think, I mean, we shoot a lot, and we have a lot of shooting games that incorporate time and some type of, it's rarely just volume. It's more some time component, some pressure component, so that the games, the shots they shoot in games feel exactly the same as the ones that they're doing often in practice. But I think what a big separator is the mentality side. What does a miss mean? To players, most players, a miss means something's wrong. I'm not a good shooter. I suck at this game. I'm cold. I should quit playing. And that snowball starts going down. Where if we can, you miss a shot, if we can stop time, allow that to pass, and only focus on what's next, and then all those positive reinforcements that you mentioned, I think you start to have guys in games doing things that are pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think shooting around to shoot around is a waste of time. So like you said, having drills or things in your program where it's competitive, where you maybe make a shooting ladder and you have something, or you give something out at the banquet that was best shooter at this, or drill award or whatever, that measures shooting success from practice, not necessarily in game, but you have to make shooting important.
Yep.
And make a decision that this is correct for my basketball program. I mean, we're talking a lot about offense, and everybody says defense wins games. I just looked the other day on KenPom. Last 3 national championships, team with offensive efficiency was 1 or 2. And that includes Virginia, who was known as a defensive team. They were number 2 in offensive efficiency in 2019. I bet you, if your listeners and your audience listens to this, they're going to go, Virginia was number 2 in offensive efficiency.
That was surprising. Yeah.
They'd be like, but last year's national championship game, Gonzaga number 1 in offensive efficiency, Baylor number 2. And everybody would be like, well, Baylor was a top defensive team. Well, great. They were 22 in the nation ranked defensive efficiency. So they weren't even a top 10 defensive team.
Wow.
And I just looked at it. 16 teams are left in this year's tournament, right? 7 of the top 10 teams are in the top 10 offensive efficiency. UCLA's 12th. So eight teams, half of the field is top 12 or higher in offensive efficiency, and 5 are top 10 defense, and I believe 2 teams are in both. That's Gonzaga and Houston.
See, what you're saying, though, it's just it's not very popular because there's a lot of the either purists or old school guys or just that don't maybe give anything or really believe in the analytics side will say this, or they'll put on a t-shirt, defense wins championships, or they'll have it in their locker room. But I've told people for a long time, it doesn't. You know, it's you
gotta be decent at both. You gotta be decent at both.
It's effort. Like if you're not giving effort, you're not going to win no matter what you're doing.
And if you look at the top teams, what can they do? You can shoot the basketball.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.